Hello, everybody. Welcome once again. Thank you for coming to visit my channel. We are looking at a position from the St. Louis Rapid in 2019 between Yu Yangyi with the white pieces and Richard Rapport, Hungarian Grandmaster, with the black pieces. If you want, I suggest rather you take couple of minutes, analyze this position right here. It's black to move. So if you want to pause the screen, you should do that. Look over the position and just ask yourself a few questions. One is, who do you think is better? Right, just at a quick glance, without deep analysis. Like if you were just walking by the chessboard and you looked, who would you think is better? Who has an advantage if you think there is an advantage, in other words, for those new players. Another question you might ponder is, okay, what is the correct plan for both sides? Just general thoughts like that. Okay, so we're going to get into it right now. Again, I hope you enjoyed my last video on the introduction to night endings. Had some positive feedback, and I think endgames are very important. I think actually it's the best way to learn chess. So looking at this position, okay, Yang Yi has just played this move, rook e1, supporting this passed pawn. So it's black to move here. Now, if we analyze this position, right, on first glance, I would say, okay, black is better. The reason why is because black has only 2 pawn islands, right, versus 4 for white, right? White has these isolated pawns, and we know that isolated pawns can be strong and weak, but in this position, the isolated pawn is weak because only the rook on e1 is assisting it, and the king is on h1 is out of the game. So the king is far advanced in the black territory, and black is going to easily capture that pawn. So black knows this, and white knows this also. Therefore, white needs to try to either draw or devise a plan whereby he can, say, for instance, jettison the e pawn for, say, the b pawn. So this would entail him getting to this 7th rank somehow, and this is the mindset that Yang Yi has here going into the next couple of moves. So first, Rapport plays king f8. Of course, he's going to gang up on this pawn. Rook f1, king g8. So just marking time here. Rook e1. Of course, Yang Yi would be satisfied with the draw here. King f8, rook f1 check, and now after thinking about it, I'm sure Rapport goes for it. So he's going to win this pawn, but Yang Yi is going to get his pawn back. So the material will be even. So rook f7, king takes e6, rook takes c7, and now king d6, attacking the rook. Now the rook would love to take the b pawn, but you can already see some of the problems in the white position here. Look at the king on h1, ready to be checkmated. So therefore, white does not have time to capture the b pawn, so he has to come back. So there it is, rook c1. He has to protect the first rank. However, the material is even. So at this point, we can say that black is better. Why is black better? I wrote some notes on the screen, and I will read it verbatim. These are my own notes, of course. Black is better because his rook has more scope than his counterpart, and his king is placed near the center and ready to attack white's pawn. That's the b pawn. White also has a weak back rank. This is what gives black time to develop initiative. Now, what is black's plan to win? Okay, so black wants to attack the most accessible weakness, which is the b pawn, of course. So step 1, attack the b pawn in order to force passivity from the white rook. Okay, so Rapport's first move, rook e4. attacking that pawn. And now rook b1. Now, of course, before playing a move like rook b4 e4 rather, black has to calculate whether white can create counterplay, get to the 7th rank, what have you. But again, with the situation of white's king being in the corner like that, he cannot move that rook off the 1st rank right now. So rook b4 and rook b1. So step 1 complete. Another possibility is rook d1 check, king c6. Again, trying to maybe get to the 7th rank and create some counterplay, because we know in these type of endings you want the rooks to be active as possible. So king b5 and g3, making some luft for the king. b6, and there's rook c7. Rook g4, king g2, and king takes b4, and you can see that black would win this. All right, so of course Rapport would have calculated, some similar lines, and you can see that the b pawn will just run down the board for black. So, and Yangyi decides not to try to get aggressive, but he chooses a more passive defense, a holding defense. Rook b1, and now Rapport plays the move b5. So step 2 is don't rush, right? We all hear that in end games, do not rush. So Rapport's next plan is just to gain space by moving the pawns in phalanx formation, right? And the idea, or one of the ideas rather, is just to minimize counterplay. The second part of that idea of moving the pawns down into enemy territory is that once the position opens up, those pawns, or what's left of the pawn, will be, say if one pawn is left, the pawn will be dangerously advanced, and you'll see this idea later. King g1. So Yangyi is making sure there's no back rank threats, but notice the time that it's taken for Yangyi to correct some of these deficits in the position. Black is dominantly placed. Look at the rook, right, on e4. You want that rook to be anywhere else right now. King is placed right near the center. And this is basically the story of this game, is the passive placement of the white pieces opposed to the dominant placement of the black pieces. King d5 right in the center, right? Botvinnik would be proud. King f2 and g5. And now you see this advancement of the pawns. King f3, h5. Again, black is doing this, right? He's gaining more space in the position, and also keeps the pawns close in case he would have to protect them. But again, it's for the reasons stated earlier. h3, and now rook c4 with the idea of coming to rook c3, checking, basically driving the king back. Okay, now he goes to rook c4. If he went to say d4, then the king could shuffle over to e3, and then you can't take over the 3rd rank. Rook c4 and king d3. This is why Rapport goes to c4. Rook d1, right? Gotta try to get some counterplay somehow. Rook d4, rook b1, and now rook d3 here. King f2, and now Rapport makes a mistake here. He must have been in time trouble. It is a rapid, because king c4 wins pretty easily, but instead he played rook d4. Again, he still has a tremendous advantage, but it just slows the process down a little bit. If king c4, then play could go king g1, h4, king f1, rook b3, so on, just picking up the pawn. Rook c1, and king takes b4. All right. So he plays rook d4, king e3, a couple of checks happen. King e5, rook b2, and you can see just a couple of it looks like time pressure type moves. Okay, trying to gain like increments on the clock and such. So rook c4 is played, and you have a similar idea, but notice now white's king is close enough where he could just play king d3. h4, rook e2 check, king f5, rook f2, rook f4, rook b2. So Yangyi is trying to hang in there. g4, king e3 now, rook e4, king d3, rook c4, king e3, and this is all white can do is really shuffle at this point. King e5, and now rook b3. So the reason why Yangyi played rook b3 is because of white's idea here again is to drive the king back. So he basically he basically recreates the position where he had made the mistake earlier. Now he's ready to play rook c4 and rook c3 and drive the king back. So for example, if we were to give black another move, which I'll do here, rook c3, king f2, and then you win the h pawn. So g takes h3, g takes h3, rook takes, king g2, and then just rook d3. And so that's black's threat right there. Again, if black had another move after king e5, that's what his idea is. However, Yangyi is going to stop that by playing rook b3. However, by playing rook b3, he gives up his second rank, and there's an attack on the g pawn. And this is another point this leads to another point that I want to mention, is that when you're playing an opponent, you want to try to create dilemmas and trilemmas in the position, right? In other words, if you make a singular attack, then the opponent can defend easily, right? One attack, one defense, right? But if you start to have more than one threat at a time, then it becomes more and more difficult for your opponent to address the attacks on the different fronts. All right, especially when he's lacking in space and mobility. All right, because now you can attack. He might be able to defend that one attack, but all of a sudden the position opens up on the other side of the board. He doesn't have time to defend. And so that's what you see Rapport doing here. All right, so he's threatening to win the h pawn with rook c3 and so on. Yangyi defends against that, but rook c2 can't defend that. Rook a3. So at this point, Yu Yangyi decides to go for broke and go for the counterplay against the a pawn. So rook takes g2, rook a5, rook g3 check, king f2, rook takes h3. Now you can see the benefit of the black pawn advance earlier. You can see now that the position is opened up, or rather the white's pawns have been confiscated. You can see that advancing those pawns has helped, because imagine if the black pawns were on g7 and h7. Okay, it will be a long way before they can queen, but now they're already in the white territory. All right, so that's part of the idea of advancing them also. Rook takes b5 check, king f4, king g2, and then just simply rook b3, again with the same idea of checking on the second rank, driving the king back and advancing the pawns. Also, the rook keeps an eye on the b pawn, and at that point, Yangyi resigned. So that was a great game by Rapport. The opening was a Shigorin's defense, actually, an opening that you don't see too much. But I didn't want to go through the whole entire game. I just wanted to focus on the end game, which could occur out of several different openings. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Excuse me. Please hit all the buttons that you're supposed to, like the subscribe button. Check the links below. Please donate to my channel, support my channel if these videos are enjoyable and helpful to you. Also, there's book links below. I want to show you a good book on rook endings, which is Secrets of Rook Endings. I hope you can see that, by John Nunn. I'll move it around a little bit because I'm not really sure if you can see it, but I think you can. Secrets of Rook Endings by John Nunn. And what I like about this book is that it's not just a bunch of computer lines, right? Of course, it's written, in the engine era, so everything is checked. All the lines are legit from the table bases. However, it's not just computer lines. It's actual explanations of why the pieces are moved where they are, why certain things work, and that's how you can learn as a human. You know, we're not AI. Like, we can't just think, you know, in a tactical manner. We need like some type of guidepost to go on, and so that's a great book as far as rook endings. So I'm gonna leave it on that. Again, I want to say thank you guys for joining. You know, my little test lecture here, and I hope to hear from you in the comment section. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you on the next video. I also forgot to mention that the player up here, whoever's the first to tell me who she is, I'll give a shout out at the beginning of my next video. So don't think that the players are up there just randomly. Of course, the players to my left, Richard Rapport up top, Yu Yangyi on the bottom. But on the other side, here we go. Right here, let me know who she is in the comments below. And whoever's the first one, you know, I'll definitely give them a shout out in the next video. So, you know, make things a little fun and you know, spice things up a bit. All right, so with that, I'll see you guys on the next video.